I'm leaving soon and wanted to say thanks for the escort. Ta-ta! And I hope we never have to cross paths again, Captain.
Don't rush off, Harry. There's still a few things we need to discuss. You destroyed the only known records of a lost race. That's a punishable offense. You were selling high-technology weapons to terrorists and known criminals. Tell me why I shouldn't arrest you on the spot just on general principles.
Because I am going to turn over a selection of samples to the Corniforous Life Sciences University.
For free?
Of course. One of everything I've found here.
5 of each.
Captain! 2.
5. Remember, I could confiscate your entire stock as illegal goods. You might get it back through the courts in a few years.
You drive a hard bargain, Captain. It's a deal.
You have no idea what a great bargain it is, Mudd.
I understand. No problem. Adieu, Captain.
Bring us home, Mr. Scott.
We have read your report on the problems at Harapan and evaluate your performance at 100%. You and your crew received 4 commendation points. A perfect mission, Jim. You are a model for all Starfleet.
I wired in that alien contraption to the torpedo system. It should boost the ship's firepower, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. I only wish you could wire Harry Mudd to a photon torpedo.
While you were away, Captain, I made some travel arrangements that I thought you would approve of.
Travel arrangements?
I think you'll be happy to know that I've arranged for Stella Mudd to meet her long-lost husband on Starbase 7, sir.
Approved, Lieutenant. Take us out of here, Mr. Saru.
Gathered, sir.
Captain's log, stardate 5097.3. Starfleet reports major military activity in the Klingon sector near Krakur, a planet on the edge of Klingon space. Intelligence indicates that the Klingons are mobilizing a large fleet to search for a renegade who is responsible for a disruption of unknown nature on that planet. Federation sensors have found a faint energy trail leading to the planet Zam-4 in the Digifal system. We've been ordered by Starfleet to track down the source of the energy and discovered what happened on Krakur before the Klingon fleet enters Federation space. If we are not successful, the Federation and the Klingon Empire may find themselves at war once again.
Krakur 4, a world in Klingon space, which has belonged to the Empire for at least 4 generations, governed by the Kenka family. The population of Krakur is not known.
Captain, a Klingon battle cruiser has entered the system.
Open hailing frequencies. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. Klingon battle cruiser, you are in Federation space. You must leave immediately.
I am Commander Taras of the Nizra. We are in pursuit of a genocidal criminal. We are performing an act of mercy in removing him from your space. Naturally, you will remove your vessel from this system, for your own safety, of course.
I think we can take care of ourselves, Taras, which is more than I can say for you, if the Nizra does not leave Federation space at once. You are in direct violation of the Organian Treaty, mister. If you have a problem, have your fleet commander take it up with them. If a Federation criminal were to pass into Klingon space, you would be saying the same thing to me.
If we are not allowed to capture this criminal, Captain, you may do this for us. We insist that we remain here to monitor the situation, but we will take no action. provided that you can bring him to us in 12 hours.
Agreed.
Nothing to report, Captain.
Entering standard orbit.
I have pinpointed the source of the energy trail from Hakur.
Hailing frequencies open.
Assemble a landing party. Unless we find this so-called criminal, we're going to war.
He appears human. All life signs are normal, but I'm getting strange energy readings near the base of the pituitary gland.
Greetings, my children. I can barely imagine that you have come so far.
I am Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Did you know the Klingons are looking for you? I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. What did you do to get the Klingons so upset?
Quaint expression. I have done nothing to anger them. I did with them what I have done with everyone.
And exactly what would you have done with them? Entering Klingon space for anything puts the peace in peril.
Jeopardize the peace? Hardly. Peace is what I preach. I am Quetzalcoatl, as you well know from the proud history of your world.
Quetzalcoatl? How fitting you would name yourself after one of the most bloody-handed gods in Earth's history.
Bloody-handed? My people love peace.
Your followers regularly sacrificed other believers to you after you left, offering you their still-beating hearts.
Impossible. You must be lying.
And then your followers were destroyed, because when white men arrived on that continent, they were believed to be you in your promised return. Your people perverted your teachings, then were destroyed by it.
Foul, lying creatures! My gift was wasted upon you! Be gone! We are not the inheritors of the noble Aztec world. What you have said has greatly disturbed me. You should not lie so. You shall remain here until you have learned the error of angering Quetzalcoatl.
You pick up some rocks from the pile.
It looks like a Xanthorian pit snake, a rather common species in this region, noted by galactic herpetologists for their quickness. It is not venomous or dangerous to humans.
Nothing happens.
fascinating. It did appear to knock the vine down near to the point where one of us can reach it.
Didn't they have baseball on Vulcan? Show us your fastball, Jim.
Baseball? No one plays that anymore. Good try, though, sir.
The probability of getting the vine on the second try was only 36.53%. Well done, Captain.
Probability? That was a perfect pitch if I ever saw one.
All right! We're on our way!
Nothing to report, Captain. I am reading a life form to the west. It appears to be humanoid.
I am Tolokzak, priest of Quetzalcoatl. Only one who knows his ways may approach his holy ground. Indeed, you know the ways of Quetzalcoatl, but only a man of courage, one who will shed blood, will pass. Self-sacrifice is the noblest quality of humanity. You may go. Beware the monster in the water. You may have my knife to defend yourself.
You pick up the beautifully crafted knife. You fail to obtain anything.
It vaguely resembles the Terran Spanish bayonet. The edges of the leaf are razor sharp and secrete a poisonous resin.
There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
It appears that the leaves are slightly toxic. I would not recommend touching it for an extended amount of time, Captain. It is some kind of mollusk. The river seems to be its home, and it is carnivorous, eating land and river-based forms of life.
There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor. It's some kind of squid, and it doesn't look very friendly. There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor.
The tricorder registers a life form, a large marine creature lurking just below the surface of the water.
Jim, there's some kind of an aquatic creature down there.
It would appear that the plant secretes a chemical that is a natural repellent to the creature. It has retreated far downstream, Captain. This appears to be a formation of raw dilithium crystals, Captain.
You have one dilithium crystal in raw form.
Watched as you worked through the problems I set in your path. You are a valiant, intelligent species. Please sit down. We have much to discuss.
I've had it up to here with so-called superior beings terrorizing my crew because we're so primitive. Maybe you should see how primitive you are before you go around testing others. One thing first, if you're so peaceful, how come the Aztecs were so violent and aggressive?
I tried to teach them the concept of self-sacrifice. It would appear they did not completely understand my teachings. You are clearly not the liars I thought you to be. Were you telling me the truth about my disciples? That they became ruthless savages?
The Federation is not in the business of lying, mister. Absolutely. Your best intentions were changed by the imperfect humans that you left in charge after you departed. Such is the way of our race, I'm afraid.
I sense truth in this. Perhaps this is what happened to my children on the Klingon world of Rakur, which would explain why they are searching for me. I have clearly abused the power that was given me long ago.
You show great wisdom, sir, but your statement implies that you wish to change your condition.
Indeed. If my mission of peace was overthrown, then I am no longer worthy of my power. Tell me, has your species made progress in the medical arts?
We're a technologically advanced starfaring race. What do you think? That we wouldn't have made progress in medicine? With Dr. McCoy, I sometimes wonder, but yes, I would say we have made considerable advances. Yes, why do you ask?
At the top of my spine is a gland not found in your species. This is the seat of my power. I wish you to remove it, thereby making me immortal.
Jim, I'll try, but the physiology is completely alien.
You've got to do it, Bones. If the Klingons realize he's no longer a threat to them, perhaps we can avoid a war. Scotty 5 to beam up.
Captain, 3 Klingon heavy battle cruisers have just entered the system. Admiral Kenka is hailing us, sir.
Federation starship, This is Admiral Blick Kinka of the Clearter. You harbor a criminal who has caused the destruction of the entire population of Rakor. We are not prepared to negotiate. You will proceed to Rakor, where a court of Cleon justice will be convened. If you refuse, we shall destroy you.
Admiral Vlicht, the criminal of whom you speak is in the middle of a very delicate medical procedure. He cannot be handed over to anyone at this time. I cannot believe Quetzalcoatl's mission to Rakor would cause the deaths of the entire planet.
His attempt to corrupt the Empire with his philosophy led to the destruction of all life on Rakor.
How could a philosophy of peace and non-violence cause the destruction of all life on Rakor?
Rakor has been governed by my family for generations, but even they were corrupted by him. It was a matter of honor that his lies had to be silenced, no matter what the cost.
My God, you killed your own people just because they acquired a philosophy that you disagreed with?
It was that creature's fault. Had he not interfered in our affairs, the people of Rakor would be alive. Clearly, he is responsible.
Message from Starfleet Command.
I'll argue this with you later, Vlicht.
Contact your superiors, Kirk. You may be surprised.
I have bad news, Captain. The Organians have ruled that Quetzalcoatl's interference in Klingon affairs renders him subject to Klingon law. You are to turn your prisoner over to them at Rakor. Klingon law will permit you to observe or aid in his defense. But be very careful, Jim. Starfleet out.
Captain, you cannot turn him over to those butchers. That would be murder.
We have no choice, Scotty. I'm afraid Quetzalcoatl has a date with Klingon justice. Set course for Rakor, Mr. Chekhov. Captain's log. We have come to the ruined Klingon planet of Rakor to deliver our guest, the mythical entity Quetzalcoatl, to a Klingon court. Dr. McCoy, Mr. Spock, and Ensign Benny and I have been granted permission by the Organians to witness this trial, which I expect to be a travesty of any meaningful definition of justice. Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the comm.
The prisoner and his witnesses will stand forth, so the trial may begin. So, Kirk, we finally meet. I had thought it would be in battle, but the universe holds many surprises.
There's nothing less appealing than a gloating Klingon flick. Let's get this trial underway. Stick around, Vlicht. There are more surprises awaiting you.
So be it! This begins the trial of the entity Quetzalcoatl, who is charged with impersonating a Klingon, stirring dissent, encouraging cowardice, and treason in the highest degree.
Those are serious charges, Vlicht. Should he not be tried by a Klingon high court?
He has not demonstrated honor, Kirk. Only a proven warrior may be tried in high court. Principles of honor are not applicable to his defense.
I'm a warrior, Vlicht. I hereby intervene for him and demand the honors and responsibilities of a warrior's trial.
A Federation officer claiming the rights of a Klingon warrior. How dare you insult me, Kirk?
I've faced Klingons both in personal and ship-to-ship combat. Your own records will confirm this. If I'm not worthy of their honors, why didn't they kill me?
That oversight, Kirk, is easily rectified. You and your 3 companions may face the test that we set for the Defender. Then we shall see if you are as worthy as a Klingon.
I want your word of honor, Vlicht, that Quetzalcoatl will not be harmed while we take these tests.
Very well. You have my word. Captain Calarax, transport them to the test of life.
What is this place?
Not much is known about Rakor, Ensign. This would appear to be some sort of a mining installation. That creature might be a native life form.
A test of courage? That is the Klingon way.
I somehow doubt that Vlicht intends for us to survive this, whatever the outcome. We're the only thing that stands between him and the killing of Quetzalcoatl that he can justify.
Why should he worry about justification, Captain? He's a Klingon. Murder is as natural to them as breathing.
That's not true, Ensign. However, I suspect that Blick's attack on Krakoor exceeded his orders. He needs Quetzalcoatl as a scapegoat, and he needs a fair trial to avoid an inquiry of his own actions.
And our deaths will be the only way he can get it. Great!
Save new game.
There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor. There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor.
This creature is composed of electrical fields. I would not recommend approaching it. A metal projectile might disrupt its fields and render it harmless. These wooden rods are support beams that were not placed. This rock has a high iron content. Nothing to report, Captain. An entry coder for the door, keyed to a number sequence. The tricorder is unable to determine the code, but can scan the mechanism. An entry coder for the door, keyed to a number sequence. The tricorder is unable to determine the code, but can scan the mechanism. Nothing to report, Captain.
You melt some of the rock. You fail to obtain anything. You coat the rod with molten iron. It hardens quickly. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
As I suspected, Captain, the creature is in stasis. It should awaken in 3.48 days.
I bet it'll be mad.
Captain, there is a force field between us and the planet. We have your position at approximately 30 meters beneath the surface of Krakoor, in what appears to be the ruins of an archaeological dig. Keep us informed. We'll help you all we can. We can analyze any data you gather through the main computer.
Uhura, prepare to receive a tricorder message. There is a door with an entry coder here. Try to analyze the circuits and let the main computer crack the code.
Scan complete. Main computer has the code. We also read an anomaly. Something else has tapped into the key code. Shall I analyze?
I want that door open. Affirmative, Uhura.
Sir, we have a secondary code that is nested in the Klingon program. Computer is unable to analyze its function. Shall we broadcast it to you when you activate the keypad?
Affirmative.
Good luck, Captain.
What is this place?
This is not Klingon technology, Captain.
Even I can see that, you pointy-eared freak.
Gentlemen, I suggest we start trying to find out what this is. I have a feeling we've come someplace Flick wasn't expecting us to go.
Captain, it seems to be some sort of interface device, but I do not know how to activate it.
Of Rakur. For defense, use the light of war. For information, use my light. For transportation, use the light of travel. Sequences are keyed by combinations of crystals. Integrator now active. This is Bialbi, the most advanced life form on this world. Thank you for informing us of the situation. It shall be resolved. Admiral Vlicht, this is the defensive system of Rakur. You have engaged in genocidal activities on this world. Have you anything to say before your sentence is passed?
Kirk! This is your doing!
No, Admiral, it is not. But that will suffice as a final public statement. The sentence is banishment to you and all members of your crew who are involved in this action.
You have no right to try me!
I have as much right as you to conduct trials on this planet. You showed no justice to your victim. The penalty for injustice is death.
Kirk!
Hoist on your own petard, Vlicht. Do you want me to help you? You tried to send me. If I have your word that Quetzalcoatl goes free, I'm willing to intervene to save you.
Agreed.
A life for a life is a just bargain, but his crimes are beyond count.
I do not see what can be served by more killing.
Idealism, an advanced concept. Naive, perhaps, but charming in its simplicity. Admiral Vlicht, the entity Quetzalcoatl shall be set free. If you ever return to this sector, the sentence shall be carried out. No Klingon vessel may ever return to this world.
Very well. I agree to your terms.
As for you, Captain, you may return. I find your social development most pleasing.
I fear that politics will make it impossible. Your planet is in Klingon space, but I don't understand why the Klingons never detected you.
Their archaeological digs did come close, Captain, but I am very elusive. I waited and monitored the situation and chose to reveal myself to you. Now you may go. Heed my warning, Vlicht. I shall not be merciful a second time.
Klingon ship leaving the area.
We will be setting course for Digifal. It's the closest thing to a home that Quetzalcoatl has.
It would appear everything worked out for the best.
Except for the people of Rakur, Mr. Spock. Except for the dead.
We have read your report on the problems at Rakur and evaluate your performance at 100%. You and your crew received 4 commendation points. A perfect mission, Jim. You are a model for all Starfleet.
That old devil moon.
Message from Starfleet, sir.
On screen, Lieutenant.
The Enterprise will proceed to the Alpha Proxima system. While the indigenous race on Proxima 3 has not reached a technological level commensurate with entering the Federation, and therefore under the protection of the Prime Directive of non-interference, we do maintain a discrete monitoring satellite. It has picked up activity from an asteroid in an elliptical orbit. You are to investigate without interfering with life on the planet.
According to the library computer, the Alpha Proxima system has 5 planets and an asteroid belt. A large asteroid is heading towards the inner planets and should pass close by Proxima 3. It passes through the interior of the system once every 200 years. The people of Proxima 3 call it Scythe, the same name as their god of war.
God of War, Mr. Spock? Isn't that a bit surprising from a people whose technology matches 20th century Earth?
Considering the level of warfare during that century, I'm surprised that it is Earth that did not have a god of war. In any case, about a millennium ago, Proxima 3 suffered a globally devastating war.
Blew themselves back to the Stone Age, Mr. Spock?
Late Bronze Age, Ensign. They rebuilt their world in half the time it had taken to get there originally. But the Armageddon was mythologized as a battle between the Soths and Lucres. In that war, the planet was raised, and all the gods died except Scythe. He had rained fury down upon the world, then went off on a long dance of victory. His return is a time for worldwide soul-searching and atonement.
And Scythe returns and our monitoring station picks up activity.
It would seem that we should proceed to Alpha Proxima and scan Scythe.
Entering standard orbit.